Inkulinati, which I don't know too much about. I mean, I have to say, I got Pentiment vibes from it, but that was about it.
So this is like a 2D turn-based strategy game where you're taking like a army of funny little guys in the form of like spearmen and bowmen, and like there's some special characters like a cleric, or like there's a donkey that plays the bagpipes that will like buff your entire team or whatever. And it's so quaint and so polished. Yeah, it's like a turn-based 2D strategy game with like platforms. I wouldn't call it a platformer, but there's platforms. You have to sort of move across this 2D plane to get in position to do the attack. It looks like a side-scroller kind of, but it's turn-based. And the aesthetic is immediately catches your attention because it is in that medieval manuscript style that you see in like old religious texts and stuff, like these little caricatures of like priests and saints and entities of a sort that were adorned in the margins of that. And this is what this game is evoking with its art style, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So like there's a lot of stuff going on the screen, but it's actually like pretty easy to grasp like once you play. Like I started the tutorial and it was really granular. Like it was like, okay, here's how you move and like whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing this. So I just started up a run, and lo and behold, like even just the onboarding like for starting a run was really good. I was able to figure out like what everything on the bottom of the screen means like fairly easily, like probably within like 2 matches. And it's really fun. Like the variety in your like infantry type, from like the bowmen to the clerics to the spearmen, like they have different like amount of spaces they can move, and like different attacks they can do. They can reach different places. Like obviously an archer is going to be able to reach a far away enemy, like hit them from afar, whereas somebody with a sword and shield is going to have to like walk right up to somebody and like hit them with it. But there's like a lot of different like unit types that you can get like the longer that you play. And then there's like funny stuff you can do where like your character, like, which is this guy with like the pen and the quill and stuff, he's like you basically, and like you can actually like take your hand, and like if one of these like blue rabbits was close to the edge, you could just like push them off the edge and they would just go, ah! And then you would just like kill that unit. That's so cool. Like it's like layered in that way. It's like it's almost like kind of fourth wall breaking or like meta to a degree. And like the art style is so good. Like playing this on Switch, I don't have an OLED, but I can't imagine like how good this looks on an OLED Switch, because just playing this on my regular Switch, like it looks so good. This is probably like one of my new favorite Switch games from like the aesthetic style and art style of this. Like this is so fantastic to just play in bed. It feels like I'm reading a book, but I'm playing a video game instead. Like it's like the same feeling at the same time. And man, like I had so much fun with this. I unlocked like a whole new like army types. It's kind of like Warhammer, I guess, in a way, of like you've got like the rabbit army and the wolf army and the fox army. And there's like a monkey army that I unlocked by beating the game in my first run. And so like there's all these different like animals, and then you can kind of mix and match. Like you have a starting army, but you can pull in animals from different factions. You can recruit them along your way, and they have like completely different abilities and stuff. So it's really cool, and it's unique. So the fact they were able to convey this art style into a game, have these characters move and be very animated and alive, but still sort of retain that fidelity and that authenticity to the art that you see in manuscripts like from this medieval time period. I just think that's so cool. And I thought that was just going to be a kind of gimmick for this game, and the gameplay was going to be like, like it's good, it's serviceable, but the gameplay is like maybe even better than how it looks. Like the gameplay is very engaging and fun and like good from a turn-based strategy perspective. So I was completely blown away by this game. I had such a good time with it, and it's got to be like one of the best games that's coming out right now. I highly recommend it. I would give it like a 9 out of 10. It's a fantastic game. And with it being a roguelike, there's a lot of replayability there, and there's like different endings each time you beat it. So there's just so much going for this game, and there's very little that I would knock it for, other than just like if you don't like intensive, high investment, high thought, you've got to be paying attention. You can lose, and then you lose everything. So there is a little bit of difficulty and a little bit of challenge there, but there's different difficulty modes. So for anybody that like isn't completely turned off by the premise of what type of game this is, I think they're going to have a good time with it, because it's just a quality game, especially from like a small studio with it being an indie game. And I think it's probably a strong contender for I think I'm definitely going to nominate it for Work to Game Indie Game of the Year, and we'll see if Brian has played it by the time we have that discussion. I don't know if you guys will be on, but I'll probably be lobbying for it come the end of the year, even though it's early. I think this is just that strong of a showing. Ray, you spent a little bit of time with this one. What did you think from the time that you played it?
First, when I looked at it and I saw the boxes and all the pictograms, and I was like, "What the hell?"
It looks intimidating. It really does.
It looked intimidating. But I'm gonna tell you something. Don't judge a book by its cover, folks. There's swords, there's arrows, there's farting, and so what? So what I did, I cracked up when the animals were farting. So what I did, I did sneak attacks, man, and just walk up and made sure that I had enough ink so I could just let off a fart and push them off the edge. And it's really just any kind of like turn-based strategy game. You got to use your magic points, or whatever, your action points. Same thing here. You got the ink points, and you got to manage that. So when you move, if you don't want to move your character all the way over, because you're gonna miss out, and by the time he gets to where his destination is, he's gonna fall asleep, and you're gonna have to wait the next chapter, and you might just get hit. So what I do is I move very slowly. I do a fart attack, knock him out. We go to the next chapter. It's my turn. Then I stab. There's different types of strategies you can use, or you just push him off the edge. But I really enjoyed the game. Kudos to the developers. This is a really hidden gem. I actually I have Game Pass. I played it on Game Pass. It's good to know. I would actually spend the money to play this on my Switch.
Yeah,
because this is something I would like. If I'm my son's dental office or something like that, and I could just sit and just chill. This is something that will kill time, folks. I really like this game, and it's worth the price.
The whole thing is very tongue-in-cheek. There's like stupid little dialogue that like doesn't matter, but like you're like, screw you, I don't want to learn how to do that. Or like what it's like, you know, or it's like, yes, please teach me your ways, master. Like it's just stupid, like goofy dialogue and stuff. And yeah, like the animations are goofy, the emoting is goofy, but the gameplay is like very actually tactical and strategic based. It's just a great blend of like taking tactics and strategy, turn-based gameplay, which like some can find kind of monotonous or obtuse or a little bit intimidating, and like putting like a sheen of like a beautiful art style on that, and then just like goofy like aesthetics and engaging dialogue and stuff that's just like, it doesn't take itself seriously at all. Clearly the writers here and the makers here like have a good humorous side, like have some good comedic sense, and yeah, it's just a fun time. I give it like a 9 out of 10. It's just a fantastic game. I had so much fun with this. Again, it's gorgeous. I can't imagine, I don't have an OLED, but I can't imagine how amazing and satisfying this would look playing this on an OLED, because again, the art style is just fabulous, like fantastic. It is just absolutely a treat to look at, and the animations are really good too. Like this is 60 frames, and the characters are very emotive, very animated, like they're sort of dancing around, like doing a little whatever.
It looks like a game I'd enjoy a lot. I didn't know it was on Switch. I do have Game Pass, but again, I was just trapped with time with everything else I was playing. But this is something this is something I'd want to check out. And I was looking at the team. There's 9 people on the team. That doesn't call any contractors. There's 1 art director. They have an actual medievalist, so someone who's trained in this. So I always appreciate people that throwing back to that like 8th century to 13th century approach to all of this. So yeah, I mean, if you would have told me, Kirk, that there's farting in this game, I would have dropped Mario vs. Donkey Kong before I even picked it up. Because to me, you got this aesthetic, and that's almost my entire identity. So
there's illustrations too. When you fart, they're coughing, they're all like, ah, and there's just like gas that's over their faces and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It looks like it has a lot of personality.